tell you what, the unofficial start to free agency calls for a multi-stream kind of day, and that's exactly what's going on right now. It is 9:01 Eastern in the evening hours. It's Monday, March 10th. Welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trosset. Tonight's live stream is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. You can learn more about them in the top of the show notes. You can also join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server, which is a 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports, by clicking on the link. It is free. That's a pinned comment right now in the live chat. I plan on combing through day one from a Ravens perspective, taking a look at a few storylines that I think are relevant to Baltimore's team building efforts, where the Ravens have to go from here, and who they've lost, who's walked out the door, including two linebackers, two special teamers, just within the last hour or so. So with all that, appreciate you guys for being here. Like the video on your way in if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm seeing that Kyle Juszczyk, former Ravens fullback, is going to be released by the San Francisco 49ers. He will hit free agency. He wants to continue playing. That just coming down the timeline according to Adam Schefter. And it's relevant because Pat Ricard is set to hit free agency. Begs the question, do the Ravens still consider the fullback position in their plans? I would think so. Pat himself told reporters, or at least I think it was in an interview within the last couple months since offseason started, that he wants to retire a Raven. He wants to finish his career in Baltimore. Well, a former Raven, again, Kyle Juszczyk, is set to hit the free agent open market. So that just coming a short while ago. But we'll begin with the more pressing news for the Ravens, and that is another linebacker staying in division and heading to Pittsburgh. That is Malik Harrison. Brooke Pryor, friend of the show, on top of this. It's a 2-year, $10 million deal for Malik. He's a third-round pick of Baltimore's back in 2020. And as Brooke notes, he did have a career year, 54 tackles, 3 tackles for loss in 2024. Lots of special teams reps. And this is on top of another news item that his running mate, or at least he was his running mate at times last year when Trenton Simpson was demoted. Chris Board heading to the New York Giants on a 2-year deal worth up to $6 million. So not only do they lose Malik Harrison, who was a special teamer, played inside and outside for him, but they lose Chris Board as well. So look, I think what this tells you moving forward is that the Ravens are going to go young at special teams. They've got some guys in-house that are certainly capable of being dogs. Honestly, I really like Sanusi Kane. I think his future is bright from a special teams perspective. Perhaps they'll lean on TJ Tampa. We'll see if Bo Braid's able to make the roster. But solely talking about, just for a second here, linebacker depth, it's pretty clear that whether it's the veteran market in the latter half of free agency or the draft, the Ravens are going to have to fill in and retool and rejuvenate their linebacker core. Right now, you got Trenton Simpson, of course, getting ready for year 3 and trying to find his way back into the rotation after being demoted last year. And, of course, it's headlined by the All-Pro in Roquan Smith. So, again, somewhat surprising, especially because of just how much Chris Board has given this team in special teams. But this is what's happening. Malik Harrison and Chris Board en route elsewhere. Board goes to New York. Malik stays in division and goes to Pittsburgh, as Patrick Queen did a year ago. And as Jeff notes here on X, he was surprised that Baltimore wasn't more aggressive in trying to retain Chris. He was voted the special teams captain last year, had a team leading 386 special team snaps. Malik, by the way, was second with 336. And both of these guys contributed from a linebacking standpoint. Chris against the pass, Malik more so against the run. But again, Harrison was just sort of your do-it-all guy, a homegrown Raven. And now I think what they're telling you moving forward is they're going to go young. And I think they're going to try and retool here at that position, both in the draft and in free agency. So That's the latest. It does come as, again, it comes as a little bit of a surprise. And that's on top of a couple other departures from earlier today. Of course, Patrick McCary being one of them. He's agreed to terms with the Jacksonville Jaguars, 3 years, $37.5 million, according to Jeremy Fowler. It has a max value of 39 M's and over 20 M's guaranteed. And for McCary, this is a player that I'm happy for him, honestly. The Ravens weren't going to pay him this. They prioritized Ronnie Stanley as you expected them to. Of course, Ronnie's going to be around for the foreseeable future, at least the next 3 years on a $60 million contract. And when they prioritized 79 the way they should have, you knew the writing was on the wall for McCary. So, Patrick, off to Jacksonville, signed as an undrafted free agent in Baltimore in 2019, started 53 games over 6 seasons, and at least a game at every single position up and down the offensive line. He was a jack of all trades. I don't care if he was a master of none. He was a jack of all trades. And he bailed the Ravens out time and time and time again. And now moving forward, you have your bookend tackles solidified. You have a second-year player in Roger Rosengarten who you're high on to handle right tackle duties, and perhaps he's your future left tackle. But until that time comes, Ronnie Stanley on the other side of 30 having a resurgence worth every penny when it comes to protecting Lamar Jackson. And then, Linderbaum has fortified the center position for the foreseeable future. I expect him to be extended along with Kyle Hamilton at some point soon. They're going to continue, you would think, to ride out this experiment with Daniel Fa'alele. And that leaves Andrew Voorhees in pole position to be the starting left guard. So when you think about the difference to where this line was a year ago, you got to feel pretty good, honestly, going into 2025. And there are a couple other areas, obviously, that they're going to have to figure out. A couple come to mind: replacing Brandon Stevens at corner, bringing in safety depth. Most notably, you got to bring in edge. You have to hit on edge in the draft and or spend in free agency. There are names out there. Zadarius Smith is expected to hit the open market and be released by Detroit. Right? There's others out there. But those, and of course, a veteran wide receiver to give you more depth in that room, I think, is absolutely a priority. But all things considered, I like where this team stands right now. Stevens, of course, leaves in free agency as well. Not a surprise. Eric DeCosta said they was going to give him a chance to test the market in the end of season press conference. That's exactly what he had a chance to do. Jeremy Fowler told me in Indianapolis that it's a sneaky good market. He expected Brandon to have a sneaky good market. 3 years, $36 million. Pretty sneaky good indeed. Baltimore's former third-round pick heading to the New York Jets. A much-needed change of scenery. He had a big target on his back last year. I wish the best for B. Steve. Obviously, his ball skills were a problem this past year. You won't question how sticky he is in coverage. You won't question his character. But unfortunately, what you did question this past year was the film. And the film showed you that unlike 2023, which was a breakout year, he just wasn't locked down. He was somebody that clearly the opposition saw as the weak link in Baltimore's secondary, and they picked on him. Just one other player league-wide had more coverage yards allowed than 21 in Baltimore. So he heads to the New York Jets. Justin Fields heads to the New York Jets. They'll be having some training camp battles, I'm sure. But B. Steve, a former college running back, drafted as a safety out of SMU, heading out of Baltimore after a few years. Best of luck to him. Got our first super chat of the evening. Alex Panduro says, "Hey, Bobby. Much love from out here in Hawaii." What's up, Alex? Do you think getting Jair Alexander is sounding more realistic? Of course, Jair, a former Louisville standout. I know a lot of people like to tie those two together when it comes to Lamar and Jair's friendship. He is a corner. He's spent his career with the Green Bay Packers. Here's the problem. Alex Jair has not been available. Availability has not been a calling card for him. And at this point, especially at the cornerback position when you're 28, sometimes your best ability is availability, and he has been anything but. Really, 3 of the last 4 years. He played in all 16 games in 2022. Started all 16 games that he played in. But in 21, just 4. In 23, just 7. And in 24, just 7. That, to me, you'd be taking a flyer on it. You'd be taking a calculated risk. I get it. When he's healthy, this dude's a dog. But he's an aging corner in NFL years. And I got questions about his availability. I know it's a name that's got some pop, that's got some spunk to it. And it's absolutely a position that the Ravens have to retool in. You're losing Brandon Stevens. You have to make a decision on Tre'Davious White. You know Wiggins is going to be back for year 2, guns blazing. You know Marlon is going to be here. You want him in the slot. What can you expect from TJ Tampa in year 2, the 4th rounder out of Iowa State from a year ago? I think a lot of folks are high on him internally. But whether it be through the latter half of free agency, again, I don't expect the Ravens. This is not a year where they're going to make splashes. Could always surprise us with a trade, but I don't expect them to make big free agency splashes, right? Last year, Derrick Henry's an outlier. 3 years ago in 2022, Marcus Williams is an outlier, right? The Earl Thomas trade, was that a trade or was that a free agency thing? It was a trade, wasn't it? Marcus Peters was a trade, right? Yeah. Anyway, long story short, wouldn't hold your breath on the Jair Alexander train, but I get it. It's fun to think about for sure. Some other ideas here, some other things that I think are relevant to the Ravens, being that, look, Sarah and I have a good back and forth on this, but I continue to prioritize, if I'm the front office, the wide receiver position, because what I watched in January was a team that lacked true depth. And when 1 and 2 went down in Zay and Rashad, and you're running Anthony Miller out there in a do-or-die playoff game, all due respect to Anthony, probably not a winning formula should they have advanced onto the AFC Championship game in Kansas City. 2 names, 2 veteran wide receiver names that are either out there or were out there. Darius Slayton, remaining a New York Giant, 3 years, $36 million. That's not something that you're going to see the Ravens pay. You just won't. He's $12 million per year. It's just not going to happen. Not for a number 3. Not a chance. So Darius remains a New York Giant. Cooper Kupp, as the new league year is set to begin on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, will be released by the Los Angeles Rams. That's a name that is really, really compelling. Do the Ravens have the resources? Are they willing to make room for a Cooper Kupp? I think he'd pair awfully nicely with what they currently have in the room. He's not your true X-type wide receiver, but then again, as Eric DeCosta said recently, they do not grow on trees at all. Another super chat. What's up, Dreams? Queon, how you doing, brother? Washington building around Jaden Daniels on his rookie deal. They are doing exactly that, boy. They traded for Deebo Samuel. Of course, today they go and bring in, I have a slide on it, actually. It's getting late here, and I've had a glass or 2 of wine. Of course I have. Bobby After Dark, Laramie Tunsil. They traded for Laramie Tunsil today. And so now all of a sudden, Jaden's blindside protector has arrived. You've got skill players all over the building. They re-signed Bobby Wagner on the defensive side of the ball. I love what Terry McLaurin brings to the table. You got Cliff Kingsbury, who's coordinating things offensively, who's definitely going to get another opportunity as a head coach. I like the loose, kind of informal way that Dan Quinn has built this organization. They got a great ownership group. The Washington Commanders, there's a lot to like about what's going on in Washington right now. I'm with you, Dreams. Hell yeah. This episode is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. And I got to tell you, let me put you onto something. It's the Ford mobile service from Preston. And here's what they do. They come to you whether you're at home, work, or anywhere in between. You don't have to go to the dealership. There's no hassle involved. Just top-notch service right where you need it. Right before I came down to Florida for the month, I had my Bronco Sport taken care of. They come to you right in my carport. Super easy, no stress. Didn't even have to go anywhere. Oil changes, tire rotations, battery replacements, you name it. They handle it. It's a piece of cake. So skip the trip. Let Ford Mobile Service take care of your ride on your schedule. You can book your appointment today at PrestonMotor.com. Let them come to you. If you click on the link that I have included in the top of the show notes, it'll bring you to my unique URL at PrestonMotor.com where you can go through that entire process. Here it is right here. Schedule a mobile service. Join the Preston family. You know my incentives are out there as well. $500 towards a new or pre-owned vehicle if you tell them Bobby Baltimore sent you. If you buy 4 tires with them, you'll receive 50% off your alignment as well. If you tell them you're a subscriber of mine, you can contact them to get more information here. And of course, over 4,000 vehicles to sift through. In the available inventory section, you can search by make, model, keyword, categories like price, vehicle condition, year, make, location, so on and so forth. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to continue working with Preston Automotive Group. And when I'm on the road, I got to tell you, I love being on the road. Look at Tilly right behind me. I just noticed Tilly's like posted up right behind me. Look at this. She's tired as heck. She's barely even in the frame. But when I'm down in Florida and getting down to Florida, 14, 15 hours, I just feel so friggin' safe in that Preston Auto, in that Bronco. And I got to tell you, since I went through the night last weekend, this is hilarious. I stopped in like North Carolina at like 3 a.m. I needed a cat nap. Tilly and I, this is how spacious the Bronco is. Tilly and I spooned each other. I was the big spoon. Spooned each other in the middle, literally the middle seats of the Bronco, and we took a nap. And the sun came up, and I felt like I needed to get going, so I chugged a freaking Ghost. Of course, I chugged a freaking Ghost energy drink. Anyway, point is, Preston's great. They support me. I would love for you to support them. If you do, you're supporting me, and I appreciate you guys. More super chats have come in. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Isaiah C278 says, "What's up, Bobby? Have eyes set on someone in the wide receiver room." Why don't we do this, Isaiah? Because I was looking at Darius Slayton, but then he got paid by the New York Giants. He ain't going anywhere. So let's do this. Let's go see who's still available out there. Because, again, Cooper Kupp is expected to be released at the start of the new league year. I just don't know how feasible that is for the Ravens. So let's do this. We'll go to Spot Rack. And I want wide receivers. I want unrestricted free agents available. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Let me know if you guys can see this. All right. I'll go like this. Oops. Okay. Look at all these freaking ads. Let's get this out of here. I'm at to sleep. Okay, so Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams. That's sort of your top, 7 or 8 players. Look, let's be realistic here. Let's study and be mindful of how the Ravens have handled this position in recent years. Let's be mindful of how limited they are cap space-wise right now. And let's be mindful of what they already have on their roster. With all of that in mind, I think a realistic area that they'll probably be in is somewhere in this range, right? Like like a Robert Woods, like a Mike Williams, a Josh Reynolds, right? Because and I'm not saying anything that's out of this world. This is where Devin Duvernay is. Would they reunite with him from a return specialist standpoint? They've already had Demarcus Robinson. Nelly, I'm not expecting him to be back. So just following their recent behavior when it comes to this position and the way they team build it, this is probably a realistic area, somewhere in this range, right? Just above veteran minimum. Zay Jones, Elijah Moore. So to answer your question, mine was Darius Slayton prior to this. But then again, the New York Giants kept him around. What was it? 3 for 36, I said. So, yeah. Holly wants to bring in D-Hop. Holly also wants her guy because I think you got Seattle connections. Do you not, Holly? Tyler Lockett. See. Appreciate the super chat, Isaiah. Got a couple more to comb through as well. Antonio Smith says Ravens have to make room for a difference maker. Wide receiver, cornerback, the position doesn't matter. The cap is cap. Look what Buffalo is doing after extensions. The cap is not cap. Appreciate you for being here, though, Antonio. And there's always ways to manipulate the cap situation. There's ways to play the game within the game. Whether that's kicking the can down the road, whether that's extending players like a Lamar, like a Derrick Henry, so on and so forth. Tony Wilson, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Please like the video on your way in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my content. Let's refresh Twitter to make sure nothing hasn't broken since I've been on. Chase Young is going to, remaining a New Orleans Saint. It's a 3-year, $51 million deal worth up to $57 million for the former Washington Commander and a Maryland native, I might add. So Chase Young remaining with the Saints. The Chargers, looks like they found their Gus Edwards replacement. LA is bringing in Najee Harris, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. It's a 1-year deal worth up to $9.25 million. Again, I told you that Kyle Juszczyk, the former Raven, set to be released at the start of the new league year by San Francisco. That means Ricard and Juszczyk are both pending free agents. So all of this taking place just within the last 10, 15 minutes or so. But I think when you take a look at day one, and really the last 48 plus hours from a Ravens perspective, there's nothing sexy that's taken place, right? Maybe you've left the first opening period here has left some to be desired. And I get that if that's the case. But this isn't a surprise. This was expected. The Ravens took care of business, what they needed to do. Priority number one was making sure that Ronnie Stanley remains a Raven, and they did exactly that. And when you start to look at the tackle class and the tackle market, had Ronnie hit free agency, it would have gotten ugly. It would have gotten ugly quickly. And so really it's a hometown discount to a certain extent for Ronnie. 3 years, $60 million. Go look at the tackle class. Go look at what's going on for tackles within the last 24 hours or so. So first and foremost, that was big. You've lost several players as you were expected to. You let McCary and Stevens walk. And now you're really going to try and rebuild your inside linebacker room, which of course is headlined by Roquan. You hope that Trenton Simpson can make a big developmental step in year 3. They've made several changes to the defensive staff, including letting Mark DeLeon go and bringing in a highly regarded defensive assistant from the college ranks in Tyler Santucci. And you hope that pays off. So all things considered, again, there's nothing really blockbuster to speak of for the Ravens here. But I'm of the belief, and there's exceptions to this, that the teams that are doing the big free agency spending doesn't always translate to deep runs in January and then on into February. But again, just to reiterate, getting this done over the weekend was what was paramount. It absolutely needed to happen. And the Ravens got their guy. Made sure their guy stays in the building. And now from here on out, they're bargain shopping. It's exactly what DaCosta essentially alluded to at the Combine. I expect them to prioritize the wide receiver position, the corner position, obviously safety will be something that they need to address. Linebacker is the position they need to address. And don't look now, but the last couple of years, when it comes to the Ravens standard, has not been good enough on special teams. And if they go young there, which it sure looks like they're willing to do that, you better hope that they have a couple guys that emerge as dudes who can lead that special teams group, because it hasn't been good enough. And again, the Ravens hold themselves to a high standard. It's been below standard really the last couple of years. And that's really not even talking about what the imminent future looks like at kicker. And I'd have to think that kicker is absolutely something that's going to have to be on the Ravens' agenda come the last week in April. Another super chat on the way in. This one comes in from, let's see, Tony Wilson. With both Harrison and Board leaving in free agency, how do you think EDC will respond? Appreciate you, Tony. I think a couple things. One, as I've already kind of alluded to, I think they're going to lean heavily on their youth. You got some dogs. You got some youthful dogs that, again, it comes with learning curves. I actually caught up with Chris Horton, Ravens special teams coordinator, 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis. It was great to catch up with him. He was really high on his group. By the way, I think he's a future head coach in this league. But that group itself has not been good enough, like I mentioned, the last 2 years. And so I think they're going to retool. They're going to retool through the draft. It's going to be linebackers, corners, safeties. And I think most importantly, though, they're going to have to lean on who they already have in the building, right? The Sanusi Canes of the world, as I pull up the depth chart to kind of remind myself of who some of these dudes are. I mean, you lose, Christian Welch is a special teamer for them. But like when you lose Malik Harrison and Chris Board, I mean, those two guys right there, they made up 1 and 2 last year in terms of most snaps logged on special teams. So, yeah, it's a good question, Tony. But it's one of those sneaky needs that they're going to have to figure out and prioritize here as the offseason starts to take shape. But, man, the more I think about some of the highlight reel plays that he put out on film and the people that I talked to, I think the Ravens really like Sanusi Kane. I don't know about logging like legitimate snaps at safety, but this dude's a dog when it comes to special teams. Think about some of the hit stick plays he put on guys. I'd be looking for him to take a big step and have a big role. And there they go. The Giants just made it official. Agreed to terms with Chris Board pending a physical. So there you have it. Yeah, Holly, he's in New York. Anyone want to pop on and say hello before I bounce? Yes, I'm drinking wine. Cabernet, if you must ask. Guest lines in the live chat if you guys want to pop on for a minute. If not, I'll bounce. A lot going on tomorrow. Of course, day 2 will kick started. Sarah and I will be live at 12 noon Eastern, as always, but I wanted to give you guys 2 streams. I haven't done enough live streaming so far this offseason, but it's not for a lack of effort. I promise you the amount that I'm working on. You may notice that I have a new thumbnail template that I've been working on. Sarah and I are working and communicating with several different sponsors on the back end about 2025 opportunities. So again, I've kind of attacked this offseason with a business mindset more so than I have content mindset. There's been travel involved, a lot of big decisions, a lot of big projects that I've been working on coming up. Excited to share with you guys. So let's go to the guest lines. Didn't expect to see so many of you down there in the waiting room at 9:30 at night, but I guess that's the beauty of free agency. Dreams, yes, sir. He's in the house. What's up, brother? I think you're muted at the moment, but we're going down to Central Virginia to say what's up to you. What's going on to you? Here, you come in and come out. All right, I'll get Julian in here. You come in and come out. What's going on, Jewel? Good to see you, brother. How's your off season going?
I'm just doing good. I just figured I'd pop in real quick before I head to work. Well, I've just been popping in and out. You know me. Ever since the playoff game, I've just been like, in and out. I don't know what to do with my life now. So, no, but seriously though,
Here's the funny part, though.
yeah,
You guys are able to do that, right? You can take a break if you want.
yeah,
For us, it's like, shit, we got to get all these laundry lists of to-do items done because there's just no way. Like, one thing you learn when you get into content and it's
yeah.
daily year-round shows, you just
It
don't
never
get shit
stops.
done from September to January. You're like, good night. Sorry, if you're going to get it done, it's going to be Saturday morning. And even
Right.
then, it's not going to happen,
Yeah. It's
So,
just the grind never stops for you guys. It's just like
I love it.
NFL. It's just
I
like
love it.
NFL.
Dude,
I
I
just
love it.
want.
We signed up for this shit, So it's all
Yeah,
good. But what you
yeah.
got for me?
Well, I did wanted to ask you a question regarding basically it goes ties into the draft and free agency. Now, obviously, we lost Chris Board. I mean, that I guess you could say that's our one significant loss because it's in our linebacker room.
I
Um,
actually think Harrison's a bigger loss.
yeah, in a
You
way,
want to know
I'll say
why?
that. Yeah, why?
Literally, and there's no disrespect to Board. He literally was the most logged special teamer for the Ravens last year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at Harrison, and I know he struggled against the pass and some of that underneath pass coverage, and that's what was kind of uh, I think making Roquan look bad at points last year before they before they made a bunch of changes. But Malik, if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
not only was he your second logged special teamer for you, but he played inside and outside. He literally did everything asked of him. He's a thumper. He's great
Mm-hmm.
against the run. I think that's the bigger loss. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Keep going.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. What I was going to say was, do you see them possibly getting like say a Cooper Cup on like a low end deal, and or also this goes to the draft? What do you see the Ravens going to do at 27? My ideal thing would be to get an edge rusher. I've been jamming for that since we lost the playoff game. I said we need a like an impact edge rusher. I don't know what they're going to do with Owe. Seems to be up in the air. Whatever they're going to do there, but yeah, just those two things: Cooper Cup and what are they going to do with edge rusher at either 27 or probably go a different route.
Oh well, the more and more I think about it my gut tells me it's back-to-back years first round corners. Like especially with
Mm,
what just happened in the division. Like
yeah,
how about getting a big time physical corner, right?
yeah,
I'm not saying E-Man Warrior's going to be there. There's no chance that he's going to be there.
yeah,
But man, should something happen, right? Should something crazy happen, like a run on a certain position, like a running back or something in the first round, like that might be projected,
yeah,
and a big time corner falls in your lap at 27, like you need some dog. How you matching up with DK Metcalf? Oh, I got all respect in the world for Nate Wiggins. He's slender and he's undersized. He's quick as shit. He's a 4.28, right?
yeah,
You're not questioning his fearlessness. You're not questioning his ball skills and everything that he showed us last year. I'm questioning solely his manpower. Really, I mean, it's manpower and it's sheer size. And I wonder how they're going to attack DK Metcalf. So I would say right now I would lean corner at
hmm
27, and then
hmm
Cooper Cup. I just think it's fantasy land. I really do.
yeah.
I think he's still worth. We'll see what happens when he's released, but I just dude, Cooper's
Yeah, it's
dude's
like
a
a.
baller, man. He look, you get him to Baltimore,
Mm,
and I'm sorry, he's your number one. He is.
mm,
He's your number one.
over Zay.
Oh
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
mm.
That might be a
That's
hot take,
interesting.
but that might be a hot take, but
That's a
Look,
real hot take.
this dude's still got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like you said. It's just health, durability.
Yeah,
That's the only thing with him. But when he's on that field, guy's one of the best, like the best, like receivers in the league, like bar none. So it's just keeping him healthy. And yeah, I agree. We could go corner because of the wide receivers we got, but I'm not too scared of that per se. I mean, yeah, we got to go there, but who's going to be throwing the ball? Who's going like what's going to be the offensive philosophy for that? Aaron Rodgers, maybe I don't know. I'm not too worried about that
yeah. You heard me
unless they get
yapping.
somebody like really electrifying. But I'm not too scared of what Pittsburgh's going to bring, even with those two, because those two are headaches by themselves. Pickens and DK. I don't think that's going to mesh well. That's just me.
Listen. If I'm Hard Knocks, I'm getting on the phone the second the Rodgers signing comes down and signing Pittsburgh.
Mm,
Sign Pittsburgh. Matter of fact, run it back. Run the AFC North edition back because it's going to be
hmm
worth it.
Oh
Those
yeah.
three personalities alone, with Tomlin managing everybody, good night.
Yes, I agree. We got to have another Hard Knocks with AFC North. There's no other division that can like bring you that type of feeling, that type of, you know, like must see TV every week. So
Precisely.
I agree.
Precisely.
Yep.
Have a
Well,
great shift, brother.
all right. I'm gonna
Great
feed
catching
my
up, man.
cat and yeah, I'm gonna feed my cat and head on out here.
Please do. Don't
He's
starve that dang
rubbing
cat.
against me. Yeah, he's rubbing against me, trying to get me to feed him. So
I love it.
all right.
See
See
you,
you, bro.
brother.
See
Great
ya.
catching up. Yep. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Over 400 concurrently watching across both channels. I know this was a spontaneous live stream tonight and a multi live stream day. I just kind of felt like I owed it to you. It's been a while since I've been pumping out the daily type of content. I did a lot of pre-recorded stuff in Indianapolis, so appreciate your patience. Chef is in the waiting room, and I'm thinking that you're a first-time caller, long-time subscriber. Is that correct?
Nah, brother, I talked to you before. We were talking about it was a minute ago. I was trying to hit you up, but I never got a chance to. I was like, how am I gonna hit you up? I was trying to hit you up on Twitter, but it was like what game I came from. I talked to you. We were talking about getting food. I was talking about getting a food truck started. This was a while back. I gave you and
Okay.
Sarah your props, and I was like, bro, you were like, try to reach out to me, and I've been trying to reach out to you ever since. So,
My apologies.
nah, it's all
Maybe
good,
you weren't
bro.
wearing a hat that first time around.
Oh man, yeah, because it was cold. I think I was coming back from the Eagles game, or maybe it was the Browns game. It was late last season. I remember talking to you on live. So,
I'm glad you're back, man. Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your off season. What you got for me on the first day of free agency?
well, I mean, you guys kind of stole my thunder. I thought about Cooper Cup as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a hot take, like what you said.
Yeah.
Well, I always support like Torres, Tila, Chris. Those are my people in the chat every day when I watch at lunch break. But I'm thinking back to that game, that Rams game. I think it was 2023 season. It was late, yeah, because we had Odell Beckham. Cooper Cup,
He dusted him. He dusted him.
Cooper Cup, and Puka Nakua was giving us that work. I'm not going to hold you, Bobby. They were working us.
Yep.
So I think Cooper Cup does have a lot left. I mean, even if somebody doesn't say he's a solid one, if he came here, he's definitely a solid two, without question.
Oh, there's no question. But that's why I
Without
think,
question.
and again, this is no disrespect to what they currently have in the room, right? A budding wide receiver who's coming off his first Pro Bowl nod in Zay, and a player who's coming off a breakout year who was tremendous, healthy, a vertical threat, great route runner, and productive in the red zone in Rashad. It's no disrespect to those guys. I think that Baltimore is a handful of teams, right, that at the wide receiver position, Cooper would walk in and be looked at as the number one. And I just think that that's more of a reflection of the way that they build their offense than it is those two players respectively, if you get what I mean. So, obviously they're very tight end centric in Baltimore. They always will be. It's the deepest tight end room as currently constructed in the league for my money. And then at running back, need I say any more? And that's not to mention, their two-time MVP. So, to me, Cup is going to end up somewhere where not only he feels like he's going to get one more bite at the apple, financially speaking, but also a place that he can be featured. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't shift things around. Monken would find a way to feature him. It's just
Sure.
if I'm Cooper, look, yeah, you're going to win in Baltimore, or at least you're going to have a chance to win. But where are you going to also get a chance to win and have a hefty workload? And I just don't think that's in Baltimore.
Yeah. I'm thinking about a place now that you mention it. What about him and Scary Terry down the road in Washington together?
Dude,
Like that combo would be crazy, and Ertz as a tight end would be pretty sick. So
let me
I
tell you.
mean, with Jaden is already trying to build something. I mean, Washington, they might not be there this year, but they're definitely a team within the next 5 years is looking kind of scary.
Let me tell you, Chef, I feel like the NFL should do the DMV, the greater DMV, a solid and say, you know what? Let's just make sure that Baltimore and Washington play each other once a year.
Once a year.
Can we get that? Because, listen, that you couldn't get into the upper bowl.
I'm a season ticket holder.
Okay.
And it was, I was surrounded by Commanders fans. Like I support my team.
What could you have sold your shit for last year?
Oh my gosh. I sold long story short, I got into the upper deck during after COVID. It was like tickets were available in the perch. So I'm in the upper deck. But shoot, those prices I think we're going for like $320.
Okay.
Like
so
at
that's
least
what
200 plus, like
yes.
220 and up.
Yes.
Just in the upper deck alone. Yeah.
Yes. And when I checked, which was last minute, just to be kind of aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
You couldn't get into the lower bowl.
Yeah.
For anything less than around $350.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that checks out, right?
Yeah.
So and you're saying it's no less than $320 for the upper?
It was I'm probably
sorry,
maybe I'm wrong, but let's say like it was at least in the 200 range. Like
okay.
200 range and not like you know how the stadium is, like the upper deck. It was probably like 200 for row 28. You know what I mean? Like
I got you.
Yeah, so and that's high up, but even lower it was probably like 250. It was crazy expensive because people were going to take advantage of that. The two most expensive games that I saw, because I always look at the resale value, like, oh, if I wanted to sell my tickets, what would it go for? Commanders and the Eagles games were the two most profitable games I could have sold tickets for last year.
December 1st was obviously a big disappointment that day. Ask Justin Tucker about that night. But Jeff, the tangent we just went on is there's a reason for it.
Right.
Washington and their new ownership group have capitalized on not only hitting in the draft on Jaden, but the fact that he's on a rookie deal.
Yes.
They've traded for Debo. They have traded for Laramie Tunsil. They've got skill position players all over the frickin' map. Yes. You've got a leader in Bobby Wagner. You've got a talented defensive front that's really underperformed in recent years, but there's so much talent and probably untapped talent up and down that front. You've got a future, soon-to-be, again, head coach in Cliff Kingsbury calling your plays. You've got a happy-go-lucky guy, an informal type of leader in Dan Quinn. I mean, Are you shitting me? This team is going to be here for the foreseeable future. They're going to be a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they keep adding pieces. Like, Philly is going to age out after a certain time. Like, I'm not saying they got their going bowl, to be though. Older, but they got the bowl. But looking at I'm cool with, like, Fletcher Cox from cooking for him. So it's like older guys are going to keep on coming down the pike, and Washington is on the uprise. So I'm cool with, what's his name, Cordell Woodland, like probably one of your guys. So we talk, periodically, but things are looking positive for Washington, I would have to say. It is not like trying to, be all on Washington's jock like that
strap.
Per se. Yeah, but I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it a buck. I mean, Washington is on the uprise with all the talent, and I kind of wish we kind of did some of the same things they're doing for Jaden as they did for Lamar on this rookie deal. So
well, you know what though, it's good for the area. I'm excited to see the way Jaden continues to develop, and obviously, like you said, I think a lot of people in Baltimore wish that when Lamar was on his rookie deal, they made more investments on the wide receiver position and the skill players. They did so through the draft. They've taken shots through the draft, but obviously they have a different type of philosophy when it comes to free agency spending, and typically that's on. Look, we all know that Odell is the outlier. 15 million is the outlier.
Yeah.
Marcus Williams in 22 is the outlier.
Yeah.
Derek certainly at the running back position last year was the outlier. Some of those have aged really poorly in Marcus's case. In Derek's, it's aging like fine wine through one early year. So I appreciate you for stopping by, man. Anything else?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just want to say, man, we were talking. I know you talk to so many people, but it was just about like food truck. I'm getting that going. Actually, getting ready to go to an event at the bank tomorrow for a food thing. So really working on that. But I'll try to reach out to you on Instagram. We spoke before, so
Well, hold
um,
on. Tell me, because these freaking
it's the
I,
Chef
I
87. I met you at Michael's
I
Michael's
filter
Cafe.
I filter everything. Oh, you came to Michael's?
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a
God
picture in a
damn.
DM. I'll DM to you. Have
Wait a
like
second. Were you the one towering over my ass?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
you're
were with your
towering over my
guys.
ass.
Yeah, I had a purple Marlon Humphreys jersey on.
Let's see
So
here. I remember this. Yeah, yeah. Wait a second now. Tell me your IG handle.
the Chef 87. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see.
yeah, it just look a little different. I'm on my iPad talking to you. So before I was on the phone and it
Dude,
was
you
cold.
you made
Yeah.
me look 5'2" in that goddamn photo. Son of
Oh man, it's all good, bro. I'll if there's a way I can just give you some, I'll give you some of my shins or something, man.
a
I'll give you some of that, bro. It's all good. It's
Listen,
no
you give me a
worries.
couple more inches in the height department, I'm untouchable.
Hey
Get me
man,
into a bar. Let's
hey,
go.
we're going to do that. I love that you're down in Florida. I used to have family down in Tampa, Clearwater area, so I'm very familiar. Like St. Pete, Ybor City, all that. Is
Yeah.
you're right, Bobby. It's a lot of beautiful women down there, like all varieties from the big Latina population. I'm just keeping it real,
Well, how
but
about
yeah,
this then? How about I leave you with this because Sarah tried to get me go down this road during our lunch hour stream, but now I got a little Cabernet in me, and you and I
yeah,
are
yeah.
about to finish
Do
up
your
this
thing.
live stream, so I'll just briefly tell you about what we got cooking up. So I'm in Orlando right now. My uncle's a 70-plus-year-old bachelor, recently divorced. He's the best. Like we get along really well, and I'm crashing with him. I got Tilly, my dog, right next to me. But St. Pete is where I was last week, working
Yeah,
remotely with my cousin,
yeah.
also newly single, 32,
Mm-hmm.
homeowner, just north of the city.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, when I get down there, he's just like, hey, whatever you got to do, like take my office, whatever. So I start working remotely. He goes out of town for work, and it's just me. So I'm ripping the dating apps. I'm going to F45. I'm doing all these like class pass fitness things, meeting a ton of people really quickly.
Yeah,
Well, I meet this one girl on Bumble, and she's just like all the boxes are checked. Now I've yet to meet her in person. Let me be clear.
yeah.
But when like all the boxes are checked and you're thinking to yourself, okay, clearly family oriented, fitness based, loves to travel,
Right.
very natural looking, meaning no makeup, none of that stuff. Like I just love that. Like very confident in herself, works in software engineering, dog mom,
Okay.
got family in the area, lived in Denver for a while, lived in New York, came back to St. Pete because she wanted to be closer to her family, 29, wants kids, blah, 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 right? So all these things are starting to check out. I'm just going for it. We're going to a freaking Spanish tapas restaurant dinner coming up on Friday night in St. Pete. Stay tuned, chef. You're getting the exclusive right now, whether you like
Do
it or
it. Do it, man. Do it, man. It's a lot of good places. I'll tell you one spot. It's in Tampa. I think it's called Aguila's or something like that.
not. Okay.
It's an authentic. They're known for like having some of the best Cuban sandwiches in Tampa. I've been
Okay.
there. Incredible. Ropa Vieja is like slow cooked. It just stands for torn clothes in Spanish. Incredible.
Okay.
Oh, there's Chris. What's up, Chris?
Oh, yeah. I had to pull this
Hey.
one up because this cracks me up right here. And here's the thing I need I2, or I need I2 to know that while I've been searching and I'm very selective, listen, it's not poor Bobby. I'm loving life. Life's good. I'm literally doing a remote month in Florida with my family and
Man,
continuing the show. Like life's
we're
good.
we're I mean, I'm low key hating on you right now. You know what I mean? Not hating,
No,
but it's
not at
out of
all.
hate out of love, man. But nah,
Not at all.
you get to do it and you inspire us, like I said before, too, man. So you and Sarah do a lot for us and we really appreciate it. I know you get hate in the community. I even hear people talk about you on local radio, like, dude, the dude does a lot. Like, you're like my go-to source. Like 12 o'clock, I'm locked in. 12 o'clock,
Yeah.
lunchtime, locked in. Say hello to Tila, Chris, Taurus, all those people. I'm locked in every day because I love you guys. Y'all get me through. Been rocking with y'all since the 30-minute segments on the podcast. So come on 7 o'clock
That's
every
awesome, man.
morning. Been
That's
rocking
awesome.
with y'all for a while.
Isn't
So
that crazy how much we've evolved? They're talking junk in the local radio space.
man, well, you might hear not like local, but you'll have a caller call in. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah,
A caller
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't know about that guy Bob. He's not from here. Like, so what? It's so many people that cover the sports.
Oh
Jeff
yeah,
Zaribek's
yeah.
not from here,
Oh
but
yeah.
we look up to him.
Oh,
So
dude, the best was when the lunch break hot take crew came after me in the fall for my brand name, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on that show. And I went on the show and stood 10 toes down.
Nah, man, like you just be you. That's all you have to do. We got love for you here. You do what you got to do because it's how can I say it has to be a changing of the guard. If you get what else, I'll leave you with this. So I grew up with an era of people like Bruce Cunningham.
Yeah.
That was my guy growing up. Stay up late, supposed to be in bed, but I'm watching Sports Unlimited. You know what I mean? Got to get
Oh
ready for
yeah.
school.
Yeah.
But it's like after those guys, Bruce has done his thing. Mark Viviano done his thing. We
Yep.
need somebody else to grab the torch and keep it moving.
Those
So
guys are,
we look
man.
at people like yourself.
There was a long time where I really appreciate that, because when you talk about the guard, the Baltimore guard, right? Like foundational pieces of the sports market, names like Mark and Bruce certainly come to mind. Keith Mills, who I was lucky enough to,
Scott Garceau used to listen to
yeah,
in afternoons with Jeremy. Yeah,
Chuck Thompson. You go back further. I mean, but it is really interesting, as much as I want to emulate a lot of what those guys have provided for over the years. It's so different, right? So
yeah,
it's like when you're trying to find mentorship these days, it's so different because the landscape has changed, that it's hard for them and for me to relate to one another. Now, you relate to one another based on out of respect.
yeah,
Um, but the business itself has changed so much that one of the things I've
sure.
struggled with since going full time in this space is, okay, who do I want to emulate? Who do I want to view as sort of my mentor, that is my blueprint for where I feel like I'm headed? And that can be weird. It's a very uncharted type
Well,
of waters. But hey, that's the beauty of it, though. Like, I feel like it's unlocked this entrepreneurial spirit that I've always had, brewing from within, even back to the days of freaking landscaping in high school, that I was able to pay my way through Loyola, pay
just
my way through a semester abroad. Like it's really
just
interesting how much the landscape has changed.
yeah, man. I mean, even if the landscape has changed like you do, but just keep doing it. You're like I said, you inspire me. Like I just gotta like I'm looking at you right now, like, and you just tell me without saying it, like you just gotta go out and kill it, just crush it. Like
Do it, dude.
don't have no fear, just do it. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to do. I'm focused on it now to kill the game. So
I love it. Well, you're
yeah,
making me
so,
think of, and I'm scrolling down a lot because you just brought me back. Wait till you see this. We'll get you out of here on this too.
no problem.
Chris, I do have actually membership available now on my channel. I just haven't rolled it out yet. I haven't actually like.
Hey, I want to sign up for that when I get paid on Friday. So yeah.
Hey, whatever you. No, there's zero pressure at
just
all. But I
just
literally
being
just
real.
I literally just rolled it out. I haven't developed it as much as we have on the vault. We've actually put a lot of time into crafting like certain membership tiers and making it
Yeah,
like, fair and whatnot on the vault. But it is now
yeah.
available on mine, I think. So Chris, if it is, let me know if you see the join button or not. I want to actually know, because I'll have to fix something on the back end if you don't. But in the meantime, before we jump, just a little walk down memory lane. Chef mentioned Sports Unlimited. It's the segment on Fox 45 that Bruce Cunningham coined. Well, what do you know? Can I bring you guys back to the spring of 2016 when I was a sophomore? Spring 2015 when I was a sophomore at Loyola, cutting my teeth in broadcasting, working at Graycom, the TV studios, working at WLOY, the radio studios on campus. And who gave me a shot to intern but Fox 45? And how about this, Chef? Look at the Sports Unlimited young man who went
Oh
by
wow.
Bob back then. Look at
Oh
this shit.
wow. Oh wow. Wow.
Look at this. Closing down 2018, doing what I love before heading home tomorrow. I believe this was Christmas Eve. I was just getting started in the local TV market, or so I thought. At the time, I think I was actually working at NBC in DC, like the NBC Sports Washington. And then how
Yeah.
about this? Look at the young buck. This was my
Wow.
intern days. This was literally 2015 right here.
That's awesome, man. I just want to say this with you, man. We're very proud. Like I said, you inspire us, especially me. I'm not trying to be on your jock, I'm just being real. But
I
you
appreciate
you
that.
inspire us, like the journey, man. It's not about, you look at where you want to be right now, but you gotta enjoy the journey, and you're showing me that, so I've
Appreciate
been
that, man.
doing my thing for a while, so yeah, but ready to take that next step. So
Well, hey, stay on top of me about the food truck thing. And if
yeah.
there's any way that I can like pass that along or relay it or whatever it is.
Or just tips on entrepreneurship, man. I'm gonna hit
Oh,
you
yeah.
up. Like I tried to hit you up on Twitter, but it was hard, so I'll just hit you up on Instagram. So
Oh, and dude, you get to a point where you just kind of filter everything, and then you just don't know who's who. But now that I know Chef 87, I'll be looking out for you following up. All right.
yeah, man. Hey, Bobby. Like I said, man, thanks for all you do. I just stay it on a positive note. We love you, brother, in Baltimore. Keep on grinding, even if you move to Florida or wherever life takes you. Hey, man, I hope everything works out with you for that Spanish tapas place, man. So, hey, everything goes well, man. We're rooting for you up here in Baltimore, and we're looking forward to having another successful season of the Vault. So,
Means a lot, man. Thank you, Chef.
yeah, no
And
problem, brother.
we'll
Love
be
you.
in touch, dude. Yeah, great
All right,
call.
brother. All right, brother. I'll holler at you.
Love that. Love that call, man. Over 400 of you had a chance to watch that one, and I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well. A couple hours in the books here. Tilly is, let's see if we can do this. Ready? Watch this. Let's see if we can. And that right there is a dog that is well rested. Or actually, no, not soon to be well rested. More like well run today, because my uncle's backyard is like vast and it's all fenced in. So she can just literally go after every single squirrel and treat it as her prey. But how about that? Little Tiltil. And as much as I want to wake her up and give her some Cameo and FaceTime, I think she probably wouldn't appreciate me not doing a dang thing. I love it. Her ears are actually perked up. She knows that we're talking about her, but she's so dang tired that I got to tell you, I'm doing this. Ended up being a little bit of Bobby After Dark. I blame Chef for that. But I do have to tell you, in closing, there is nothing. Well, I'm sure there's something, but for me, the chance of having how should I say this? When the wine hits and you can't talk anymore. Having a dog when you're on the road, single at 30, is so incredibly therapeutic. Like she literally brings me so much freaking joy. It's hard to actually quantify it. So whatever I end up doing June 1st, whether it's putting my stuff in storage, traveling, whether it's going back to upstate New York, working on my mom's house, broadcasting from the basement for a couple months, like whatever it is, I know she's going to be there. And it's just freaking awesome. Like I love the mobility, the creative freedom, everything that we're building. And obviously it goes without saying, none of it is possible without all of your support. So yeah, Troy, she is a boxer lab mix. I'm sure if we did the DNA test, which I've never done, I'm sure there would be some pit in her, but she's a boxer lab mix. She's a lot of fun. She's incredible athlete. It's a lot of fun to be with. Never met a stranger in her life. Very skittish. Tornado warning ran through Orlando today, and it was raining like it was monsooning outside. She did not like that. She was huddling throughout the entire noon show today. She was huddling underneath this desk on top of my feet. So she's a good one. And with that, appreciate you guys for hanging out late night with me. Stream number 2. Much more content to come, by the way, in the coming days. Like the video if you would on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content. Thanks to those of you for dropping in super chats. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group. Please consider supporting Preston. And I would love for you guys to join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server as well. If you haven't already, it's a free 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. And the link is currently pinned in the live chat. Great way to interact with me as well. Probably the best way to get in touch with me too. Over Instagram DM, over Twitter DM, over email. It's the best way in Discord. At least that's what I tend to check the most. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome night. Catch up with you guys soon. Later. Oh, Chris, no join button. What? All right, I'll look into that. Chris. Love you guys. Later.